GM. Today's lesson, I'm going to talk about being lazy and how being lazy is not just a bad trait. We all know this, but everyone's lazy, right? Everybody is lazy in certain areas. I mean, if you ask me to paint a wall, right, and I have to put that into my schedule, right? I need to paint a wall. That's going to be the absolute last thing I want to do. Painting walls is extremely fucking boring. It has zero value add, right? And if it was just not mission critical, right? Let's say it's not a wall that has to be painted right now or else the world's going to end. If it's just some bullshit mundane task to paint a wall, I'm going to procrastinate on that so much. Because I have so much more important work to do. Yeah, I've got my trading, I've got the real world, I've got family life, I've got my social life. And all of those things, obviously I just skimmed over them, but all of those things already take up 17 or 18 hours of my day. Yeah, I try to sleep 8 hours every night. Recently it's been 7. And every single waking minute is filled. Health, wealth, and relationships. The big 3. I don't put anything in if it's not in the big 3. Right? Health, super important. Stay in shape, eat well, gym. Wealth, trading. And the real world. Relationships, the real world. And my family and my friends. Right? And that's a good point about the relationships. Some of the relationships I've made online here are amazing. Some of my students, my captains, the other profs. This is the greatest network in the world. Why is everyone not using it that way? A lot of that comes with time as well. Like when you first join your first month, yeah, it's not going to feel like you've got this solid network. But talk to my captains. Talk to my leaders. Talk to my masterclass students. There's a reason they are where they are. There's a reason they are where they are. Right? They are there because they stayed for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and beyond. Right? And then they got to know each other. They built the network. They added a little bit. They chatted. They made things a little bit better, right? They got to know people. So yeah, don't underestimate that. A lot of you guys ask about how do I network with like-minded people because everyone around me is a loser. That is true. The best thing you have is here. I know it's not in real life, but it's the best thing you have right now. And when you're on this path to becoming the man you want to be, or the woman you want to be, you have to go through phases where you're in sacrifice mode, and sometimes that's sacrificing your social life because there's nobody around that you want to have. So never be lazy on those key 3. Health, wealth, relationships. Never be lazy on those. So back to my wall. Is painting my wall going to improve my health? No. Improve my wealth? No. Improve my relationships? No. Right? It would just have to be a favor for somebody. And so unless that somebody was a very close family member and they really needed me to do it for a certain reason, then it might fall into that category. But it's such a low priority task that I find it easy to be lazy. So I am not a lazy person. No one would categorize me ever as a lazy person. I take pride in the fact that I do nothing but work. Whether it is health, wealth, relationships, I view it all the same. I've talked about this in lessons in the past. It's all the same. You're at the gym, you're working. You're spending family time, you're working. You're working on better relationships with your family. You're trading, obviously you're working. You're walking, you're working. Think. Allow your brain to be clear. Take the headphones out. Think creative thoughts. You're always working. So when that comes in, it shows that I can be lazy. I'm only human. Every single person you know is lazy. It's not about whether they're lazy, it's about where are they lazy. You should be lazy about painting that wall if you've got 100 emails to send to your clients instead. If you've got backtesting to do. If you've got systems to build. Right? If you've got lessons to cover. You should be lazy on the painting of a wall. It's time management. So, a question from a student that inspired this rant. And he was talking about how he's a student, obviously, as in he's an engineering student, a student in university, as well as a student in the real world. And getting near exams, started to get lazy about doing work on trading. Right? Now I have some free time in my day, but I keep staying on the phone, on social media. And it's like my mind telling me that I should get work done, but I've remind myself without action. Can you advise me what I should do? And this is going to be very relevant for many of you, so I'll cover it. Right? So let's break this down. He started to get lazy doing work on trading. When I hear that, massive red flag. Huge red flag. Right? Getting near exams, okay. So it's getting probably to a point where you have to do more work. This is going to be the rationalization your brain uses, right? Oh, we're getting towards exams. I need to focus more on my exams, so I need to focus less on other things. That is totally true and totally fine, right? If you've got a period where you've got 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it's double the amount of work of studying, then yes, cut out the trading, cut the trading way back. You have to prioritize. But then in the same post he said, I have some time in my day, but I keep staying on social media, and it's like my mind telling me that I should get work done, but I just remind myself without action. So he's procrastinating. His brain wants to use the excuse about the exams, but he's also smart enough to know that, no, actually I do have free time and I'm sitting on fucking social media. So that triggered me into doing this lesson. And I know this is the same for many of you. And I want to explain it in the best way possible so you can really take what you need to take from this lesson. This is super important. So here's what I replied back to him, and then I'll expand on it. I replied, quit. That was my first word. I told him to quit. If you're lazy about trading, it makes me question whether you even want it. I can't even imagine being lazy about trading. And the same goes for all my best students. Trading consumes my life. It consumes all of their lives. All my best students, they all juggle 2 or even 3 jobs. And they get their work done. Right? You're still a student, which is nothing compared to the real world of work. It's a harsh truth. I've been a student. You can't bullshit me. I did uni. I did 4 years. Students have so much fucking free time. Even in a tough degree, it is still not a job. There is no risk on the line. There is no pressure. There is pressure from your family, from yourself to do well. It is not the same as the pressure of having to pay your bills and survive. And make it in this tough world where it's a meritocracy, and if you don't do well, you're gone. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. An engineering degree, absolutely lots of work to be done to be tough, but it's not as tough as the real world. Nothing. No degree, no university is ever as tough as the real world is, right? And I mean the real world of work, not the real world here. Although this is tough too. So then I said, imagine getting up at 6 a.m. to work out so you could make it into your job for 8 a.m. And then work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and finish at 8 p.m. if you're lucky. Then you get back home at 9 p.m. because you have to commute and get food. And then you trade until 11 p.m. And then you sleep for 7 hours so you can be ready for the next day. Yeah? That was my life when I first started trading. That was after I'd finished uni. I only wish I started trading in uni. I was actually doing sports betting at that time, which was similar, but I could have made way more in trading. I was doing professional gambling, professional sports betting. And when I was in uni, I spent all my time sports betting and learning that and understanding the systems and building it and doing it, right? Because I had loads of fucking free time. Loads. But that timeline I laid out, that was me when I worked in my high-pressure corporate sales career with millions of dollars on the line each year. Right? The clients I managed were giving us millions of dollars. I had to go on meetings. I had their expectations to manage. I had relationships to build and keep. 12-hour days were normal. I'd rarely be out of the office before 8 p.m. I was the top salesman in my entire company, and I felt pressure every day to keep that up. So I could only trade 2 hours a day. And guess what? It was the best 2 hours of my day, because I was obsessed with the markets. By this stage, this was later in my career in sales, right? When I was planning to leave, I was thinking about getting out of sales and trying something different, and it was trading, right? My plan was to get out and go trade. And I did exactly what everyone here is doing, or should be doing. This is why I scream at you guys to take the path I took, right? If you want to follow me and trade like I trade, or follow my lessons, then why not take the path I took, which is I kept working. I kept making money. I had enough money. I easily had the 50k to start at that time, right? Because I'd been making good money from a sales job. But I didn't. I kept working because I had responsibility to my company, one, to my team, and to my clients. And also, I knew that I had to prove something first. I had to prove, first of all, that I can trade consistently, right? Which takes time. And I had to prove to myself that I want to trade, right? I said, well, I'm going to do this, and I'll do it for 6 months, a couple hours a night. And if I don't really love what I'm doing, then I won't do it. I'll pick something else. I'll try social media marketing or some shit, right? And that's what I did. I loved it. Loved the markets. Fascinated by them. Could not think of anything more fulfilling to chase mastery of. That was what I wanted to do. And so I did it until I was able to prove consistency as a trader and then go full time. Now, then I refer back to the first word of my post, because I know it would have shocked him to read, and it'll shock you to hear. The first thing Michael says is quit. I'm not telling you to quit. I'm not saying you can't do it. But if you don't love it, which is the process, not the money, you will not succeed long term if you don't love it. I'm telling you to go back and plan your day like I used to. Take that blueprint of what I did, right? And then take that, do it for yourself, and allocate time to trading, right? So what time of the day will you trade? And then ask yourself, is this the most fun part of my day? It should be. If it isn't, ask why. Why don't you feel excitement at playing the most challenging game on earth? It's probably because you're too zoomed in on today's tasks. Right? Trading is not about spending 2 hours backtesting. That's what you do today. Right? And it's today, it's these micro decisions, it's the small decisions we make that compound over time into who we are. I think it's Annie Duke, the poker player who wrote Thinking in Bets. She said that everything in life, every outcome we get in life comes down to two things. One, luck, and two, the decisions we make. Right? So every outcome you've ever had in your life is a factor of either one, luck, or two, the decisions you make. And her point is, you can't control luck. You can only control the decisions you make. That's all you can do. You can't bend the universe. You can choose the right decisions, take the right path to be as successful as you want. Now on the luck thing, I'm not necessarily a believer in luck, but I know what she's saying. She's saying that luck is anything that can happen that's out of your control, which I do agree with, right? There are events that happen that you can't control. Unforeseen events, random events, okay? So semantics of someone use luck, someone else use a different thing, that doesn't bother me. But the decisions, right? Laziness comes from a choice, a decision, to just skip one thing. Right? When you're sitting on your phone scrolling on social media, you're being lazy because you don't want to do the 2 hours of backtesting. But you'll have no problem watching 2 hours of lessons, right? Maybe you like watching the lessons. You love watching me on the screen explain stuff because it's visually stimulating and entertaining. And of course, I make it look so easy, right? That's how lessons work. But then it comes to doing the work of backtesting, you don't like that. So you don't skip the lessons, but you do skip the backtesting. It's the decisions you're making. Zoom out. It's not about what you're doing today. Every day, as a trader, you're becoming 1% better at so many skills. Trading, the process, builds you into a person that is so desirable that done correctly, you could get a job in almost any institution on the planet. Right? Here's just a list I found from my old lessons of things you become better at. Every day as a trader, you can become 1% better at technical analysis, price action, market psychology, risk management, decision making, data analysis, emotional discipline, time management, research skills, financial literacy, software proficiency, networking, strategic planning, crisis management, and communication skills. No one thinks like that, do they? No one thinks like that. That you've 15 different things that you could actually take and put on a resume and get hired for. So many people are outcome focused. They think, if I am not making money in the 2 hours that I trade, then it's a waste of time. That's outcome focused. You have to be process focused. You think back and just at all the things you're actually doing. Things you wouldn't think of. Crisis management is one of the most desirable skills in most businesses at a high level. Every business needs solid leaders who can manage in a crisis. Because most people crumble. Trading is literally crisis management all the time. You'll face market downturns. You'll have to react in the moment to a crash. You'll have to recover from a loss. You'll have a personal slump in your trading. How you handle these is a skill in itself. Right? It's just insane. There's so many things. I think back to my old sales job, and if I ever went back to sales, some people would say, oh, why is this 5-year gap in your resume where you haven't been doing sales? I'd be like, oh, I was trading. So, oh, trading? Why'd you do that? That was totally different. I would just list off a ream of things. Well, yeah, from trading, I actually learned advanced data analysis, emotional discipline to another level. My time management is just 10 times what it was, and my time management was good before. My research skills, you want me to research companies now? I've been scouring news, technical reports, scanning social media, building fucking systems to scrape social media, to find market moving info. Strategic planning, right? What about all the ideas I come up with in the market? A trading plan, a study, a situation analysis, backtesting strategies, adapting to the market. All these things are transferable, right? So whether you want to trade forever or you want to build a set of skills that's transferable, this should be the only place you want to be. Doesn't that excite the shit out of you? Don't you want to have all those strings to your bow? Zoom out. Find your why. Yeah? Why? Why do I want to do this? Focus on the process of self-improvement and you'll make it. You're not lazy. You're too far zoomed in. You're not thinking about acquiring mastery. You're thinking about the task that's in front of you. Stop thinking about the back testing or whatever you have to do today. Zoom out and think of those 15 things you're building every day that turns you into a master.